Hi everyone, Eileen here. Sorry this is so late. I've been playing this morning or Zooming with my crafty pals, and it was a fabulous session. Thoroughly enjoyed it, so relaxing. So I'm a bit late getting the filming done on this, but here we go. This is what I'd like to share with you this afternoon. This is a Lavinia stamps card, and I'm using a beautiful tree goddess Luna stamp, silhouette stamp, and a stencil and a mask. More about that in a minute. Let's go. So there's my cardstock, multifarious card, folded crease and cut to 12 centimetres by a 12 centimetre square. I'm going to pop the card into a piece of copy paper into the middle of the card, and I'm using one of these masks that you will find on the Lavinia Stamps website. There's 4 in the set. This one sort of hills, and there's another one with mountains, and then there's 2 more. I don't know if one is waves, but it's quite gentle. And anyway, I'm using it for the background, so not in the conventional sense. Mustard seed distress ink and a brush, and very gently, so that the ink is just skirting over the top of the mask and the card, so that it gives me a lovely hazy look. So very gently, no pressure on the head at all. And then I'm just turning the mask around, trying to not go close or all over, you know, not to the top of the card or the bottom or the sides, just sort of keeping in the middle. And then I'm going to add some picked raspberry, pink brush, all to the angle of the mask. Again, very gentle, because this is a wetter ink pad actually. So very gentle, circular motion, very, very gentle. No pressure on the head at all to get that sort of ethereal look that I'm after. Very gentle, and that will do, I think. And now I'm going for the blue. I was going to use tumbled glass, but that is too dry, that ink pad. So peacock feathers. I don't want it to be too wet, so let's just see how we go. Might need to take some of that off onto some scrap card. Let me just check that you can see this okay. Yeah, you can. So I'm going to put down the mask and just a little bit there. Oh, it didn't come out at all. Took too much off, or not enough pressure. That's a bit there. And then we have another bit here, and maybe a bit there, but I'll go up. Yes, and then one more down here. Soft, 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 soft. Yes, that's quite nice. So that's my first layer. Then I'm getting a stencil here. This is Lavinia Stamps Pods, one of my faves. On it goes. And I'm going to use, clear the decks with these, Wild Honey. Now this is wetter than the other ones, so I've got to be careful. But a bit more pressure because I want to be able to see this. Not going all over, just clipping some parts of the stencil and then moving away. And then I'm going to try and have a little bit of pink again. I'll put some ink on that. Again, not all over. Just clipping parts of the images like so, but I want to put some down here now. Pressing a bit heavier. Yes, that's good. So I've gone right to the top. That doesn't matter, still looks good. So that is my second layer, and then of course the stamp is my third layer, and I'm using a stamp press for this. some of these out of the way. Don't want an uneven layer. The card in there. I've got some copy paper in here because I'm stamping off the card with this. So this is my beautiful fairy, and I want my magnets. One there, and one up there. And it's butted up to the side and to the bottom securely. I'm just going to bring her onto the card, but just at an angle there. I don't know. Oh, Ken's laughing at the television. Sorry about that. Yeah, so onto the card, but I'm just not letting the whole image go on. I've just got a little bit of the tree stump over the side there, off the card. Down we go. Oh, didn't pick it up. Did now, good. And I'm using an archival ink because I'm using a moon in a moment, and I'm going to ink through the moon and it will disturb the ink. So I want archival because it's instant dry. And it's quite a wet pad. I inked this up 2 or 3 days ago, so it's quite inky. Yeah, that should do it. Down we go. I'm going to stand up so I can see, make sure I've got it in shot. She's not quite come out, but she's close. I'm going to pop her back in again. And just get the ink. Just make sure that this is butted well up, and it is to the sides and the bottom. Should be okay. If it isn't, I'm going to have to start this video again. Yes, that's great. Now she's fine. That's good. Pop her there. And let's get some more copy paper. I've got a tiny little speck there, look. Fill that in, like so. That's great. Okay, next is the moon. Now I'm going to give it a quick blast because although this is archival ink, oops, sorry, click the camera. Although this is archival ink, I still want to make sure it's thoroughly dry before I do the next bit. That should be okay. All right. The card's a bit bendy now, but it will go back into shape. Some glue will help me with that. So I'm going to get a stencil now, as opposed to a mask. Pop that down there. And I just want it to come up from the bottom. And I'm going to use the pink picked raspberry. And this is why I dried it and used archival, because there's quite a large area of black ink from the silhouette of the stamp there that would have moved if I'd used Nocturne VersaFine Clair and hadn't dried it thoroughly, even more so than I did this one. Even this is moving the archival a little, to be honest. You know, the wetness of the ink hitting it, it's moving it, but it doesn't look unsightly, so I'm quite happy with that. So that's that. Two more things to do. One is using this Jelly Roll pen. Again, you get this from Lavinia Stamps. And this is called, what's it called? Starlight or something. Anyway, you'll see it on the website. So it's sort of a clear glitter. I'm just going to pop this. I want to protect. I don't want black ink all over my hand and moving around the card. So I'm not using glitter as such, but there's glitter in the pen. And it just gives it that lovely shiny look. It's very pretty. Hope the camera will pick this up. Like so, and a bit underneath. So it's not quite the circle, but that's good. It doesn't matter. And then finally, two things now. One, Posca pen, you know the score. 0.7 pin type, bullet tip type thing. Give it a good shake. Perfect layers and a bit of whacking. Don't want to go too much over Lovely Luna itself. Now I'll go over the moon and these other areas. Yep. A bit more here, I think. I think I'm running out of, this is paint in these pens, and I think I'm running out of it. Now I've gone over Luna and I didn't want to do that, so getting a cloth, just damping that out. And then I'll put the black back in with a crayon. Well, you can see the dots, but that adds to the mix. They're black now instead of white. You can still see them, but I'm not bothered about that. I think it still looks pretty cool. So that's that. Then finally, Dreams. And this is from, I think this is called Life, Love. I think it says Life, Live, Life, Love, Dreams. There's 4 words in a set. You'll see that on the Lavinia Stamps website. I'm using VersaFine Clair Nocturne for this. And my stamp mat. And I'm going to pop that around about there. That's that. I'm still not happy with these splodges. I'll go over those again. Yeah, that's better. Okay. And then what I'm finally doing is that I'm going to glue this card together, because what I found whilst making this card is that it looked really good mounted on a larger base card. So I'm just gluing that together because it gives it a nice firm look, much stiffer firm look, and so the topper stands proud rather than all bendy. So I've glued those together, and then if I get the original card, and then when you pop it on top, you can see that it looks good. Well, I think it looks good. Mounted. You could, in fact, not do that, just cut it and put it on, but I like it like that. So that's it. So that's one that I did earlier. It's a bit lighter, paler there. In fact, I think I might prefer that. And then this is the one that I've just completed. Thank you for looking today. Have fun. And I'll see you next weekend with Lavinia. I might be able to fit in a card during the week. Can't promise though. Got a big week with Sweet Poppy. They're on the TV again at the end of next week. 22nd, I think it's Friday. So, bye for now. Have a nice Sunday. Toodle pip.